Hello everyone. In this video, I would like for us to concern ourselves with wealthy millionaire capitalist that goes by the name of Tim Gurner. He basically spilled the beans and told us what him and every single one of his wealthy friends think at a forum. Please take a look at this. His comments are incendiary and every other negative connotation that you can attach to it. Maybe then it might not even do it justice, but take a look at this. He went viral over these comments, and then I want to talk about it a little bit.
I think the problem that we've had is that we have people decided they didn't really want to work so much anymore through COVID, and that has had a massive issue on productivity. Tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. They have been paid a lot to do not too much in the last few years, and we need to see that change. We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40, 50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. I mean, there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. So it's a dynamic that has to change. We've got to kill that attitude, and that has to come through hurting the economy, which is what the whole global, the world is trying to do. The governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment to get that to some sort of normality. And we're seeing it. I think every employer now is seeing it. I mean, there is definitely massive layoffs going off. People might not be talking about it, but people are definitely laying people off, and we're starting to see less arrogance in the employment market, and that has to continue because that will cascade across the cost balance.
As I said there in the beginning of the video, those comments incited fury from a lot of people because, here we go, a lot of people are working people, aka myself, aka most likely you, and quite literally 99 or 98% of people that exist, because only so many are in the position that Mr. Gurner, or however you say his name, is in, to be able to say the ridiculous things that you just saw him say. So we're gonna kind of pick apart his comments here. We're not gonna divulge into too deeply into the matter, because I mean, this is cut and dry. Anybody that looks at this that's not, worth $900 million, which is what his net worth is, thinks that this is ridiculous. This kind of ideology, I personally believe, is extremely dangerous. Like seriously dangerous. Let me just spell this out for you. So obviously, the United States military and their allies, the West, generally speaking, are engaged in a foreign policy right now that's quite literally threatening us with another world war, which would basically destroy everything essentially because of nuclear arms and all the rest of it, right? But that's like, warfare in, the sense that we all understand it, right? There's actually a domestic war that's going on in many different countries, but I live in the United States, so I'm going to speak about the United States of America. There's a war going on domestically here, and I'm not referencing a race war or war on gay people or trans people or whatever. And obviously, we're empathetic to the struggles that those individuals go through. But the most important war that we face here in this country domestically right now is a class war. There's a class war going on right now, and it's people like this that we're at war against. People like this. Let's go through some of his comments. I mean, these comments in and of itself invites a revolution. They just do. For him to be able to sit there and say this, and the thing that's funny about this is that people like him, people in his position, the Elon Musks, the Jeffrey Bezoses, typically speaking, they're smart enough not to say this stuff. This is what they think, but typically speaking, they're smart enough, they're intelligent enough to not say this, right? But this guy just goes and spills the beans. Now, obviously, you already know he's come out and issued an apology. No one cares about that. We know what he thinks. So he says, tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. They have been paid a lot to do not too much in the past few years, and he goes on to say that what we've had is people that have decided they didn't really want to work so much through COVID. So you have people these are people, right? He's talking about them. Let's not forget they're people. He's talking about them as if they're slaves or serfs or just not human beings. You're another cog in the machine. You're just another cog in the machine. That's how he sees you. That's how they all see us, right? We're just a cog in the machine and we can be replaced by a different one. But this strikes me because he says that people didn't really want to work anymore through COVID. They didn't want to work anymore through a disease that was killing people. I mean, it's amazing for him to say these things and for him to think that they make sense. He says, just to go through a couple of his comments, he says we've got to kill the attitude that has come through hurting the economy, which is that the whole global world is trying to do. The governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment to get that some sort of normality, and we're seeing it. I think every employer now is seeing it. He's basically championing layoffs. He's getting excited at the fact that basically people are going to suffer. This guy is happy and looks forward to seeing people suffer. That's literally what this is. I mean, I can't put it in more simple terms than that. This guy would like to see people not do well. And I would love to get his opinion on the current ongoing UAW strike, the United Auto Workers that currently went on strike. They've resumed negotiations with the big three auto industries that they're striking against. I'll make a separate video on that most likely. But I'd love to get his opinion on that, or just strikes in general. You know, the only way that workers, the only effective way really that workers have to fight back, other than, you know, joining unions and what have you know, withholding their labor, the one thing that people like him need in order to make a profit, right? I wonder what he would think about those brave men and women that are sacrificing basically everything in order to improve their situation. But that's the irony. People like this guy would not like to see those people improve their situation. You'd be appalled if you were to just look at the different backlash and things that people say when you see things like strikes. You know, I mean, it's insane the negativity that's put against working class people for simply trying to improve their situation. You know, when these individuals get tax breaks and, you know, all the, you know, companies do the stock buybacks and they're making tens of hundreds of millions of dollars, they don't bat an eye at each other. Nah, but the second you ask for a little raise or however much of an increase in your pay that pales in comparison to what these people are making, now you're greedy, now you're arrogant, now you need to suffer, now you need to lose your job, now you need to, you know, etc. I mean, what more can I really say about this? What more can I really say about this? Wow, you know, you don't see things happen like this often because usually they mask it pretty well. But man, oh man, when it does happen, it really is something. And another thing, and I was going to end the video, but I'll end it on this note. Comments like these, people like these, when they do things like this, like say things like this is how you radicalize people. This is quite literally how you take someone that was kind of on the fence, or maybe I don't know if I want to, you know, join a union, or I don't know if, you know, a different economic system other than capitalism is the right one. Need I remind you, he just made the perfect case for why our current system and what we have is unsustainable. And we can't keep doing this because we're making so many people suffer. And he just admitted he looks forward to the suffering. But this right here, quite literally, is how you radicalize people. This is probably a more effective way of radicalizing people than the people that have already been radicalized trying to radicalize people that haven't been radicalized, because they're just taking the truth and they're just throwing it in your face. This is incredible. I'm actually really happy that this happened.